Hey guys, back with another painting tutorial for Bold Action. This time some weapon teams. We'll be painting a flamethrower and an LMG team, so you can see both of them. The first thing you're going to need to do is prime the model. I primed it with Citadel Primer, their Death Guard Green, because it's a good base coat for the DAK Tropic uniform that we're going for. And it takes a lot of the work out for us, so which is nice. Speed up the process. I just want to caveat this painting tutorial, there will be some things I add to the German uniform that wasn't historically correct, so and I'll try to point those out as we go. The first color you're going to use is a Procurl Yellow Ochre, which is going to be for the helmet, the gas mask canister, the canteen cup, and mess tin. So you can go through and it goes pretty quick. This for the helmet specifically, I usually do 2 coats. As far as these models go, they're a mixture of Warlord, there's the Pioneer box for the flamethrower, and then the DAK Army box, and then some 3D prints. So don't forget the ammo cans on some of these sprues, just because these are the loaders for the LMGs, so there's quite a few ammo cans that I have in the mix of things. So if you haven't seen my other video, I posted another video about doing a regular Wehrmacht soldier, and it's very similar to this one, but if you're into wanting to do a DAK army, hey, it's a pretty good reference, you know, to at least start off with something. Alright, the next color is going to be the Procurl Dark Yellow Green, and we're going to hit the flamethrower tank is going to be most of this, and then any other like canteen, cup, or mess tin. Say if you want to have some just different color variation, that's totally fine. And actually, I try to do that quite a bit. Just that way, all the models look a little different from one another. Okay, now mahogany. This is going to be for all the leather bits. So historical inaccuracy. A lot of the leather was technically a canvas, so you could use a khaki if you needed to. Also, I use this for any of the wood, so the rifles, the e-tools, or I guess entrenching tools or shovels, the Y straps. Again, a lot of that stuff was more of canvas material, but I like the way the leather looks against the uniform. It just contrasts really well. That's why we're doing that. And then the boots. Another historical inaccuracy, the big jack boots there, they've been black, not brown, but I just wanted to stick with the brown theme that I was painting already. So, and I'll go back and forth with the brown a few times, just because I'll miss little bits, or I'll paint over. So say if you're going to paint the canteen, the actual canteen itself, with the light umber, which there's a strap around it that will be mahogany, so it's easier to paint the whole canteen that color and then go back and hit it, and you'll see that throughout the video. I do that a few times. The goggles, I always forget those. I'll like get to 3 or 4 stages and oh yeah, I still need to paint the goggles, so don't forget those. Alright, back to the dark yellow green. This time the gas mask on the Pioneer unit there. Well, I guess he's not Pioneer. He's technically just a loader for a flamethrower, but that's where that head came from. It's a metal head, and you can sort of see some of the sculpting lines on there. I'd like to find a good 3D print to replace that, but I do like some of the gas masks. Those are fun. Next, probably my favorite color in the Procurl line would be the khaki. It just flows and paints just like a dream. I love this color, and unfortunately the only thing we're painting with it is going to be the bread bag, and then if they have a bayonet on them, they would have a frog, and it would be like a canvas material, and so you're going to hit that sort of the connecting portion, that frog area, with that khaki color. Alright, now the light umber. This is going to be for the canteen, the actual liners for the canteens. They were like sort of a wool slash felt sort of material. If you've ever felt one before, that's the texture we're shooting for. So, and like I said, it's probably easiest if you just paint the whole canteen that light umber and then go back as like right now with the mahogany. And here I'm gonna hit the, I forgot on the bread bag there's the little tabs there, hit that with the mahogany. And now we're going to start working on the flesh bits with tan flesh. This is going to be a nice base coat. You will probably have to have 2 layers though, just because the primer will sort of show through after it dries. So especially on the face and at the top of the hands, you're going to want to get 2 coats on there. This is another good paint from the Pro Curl line. It flows really well, and it is like my staple skin tone color for my historics. Or at least the start of it anyways, and you'll see what we're going to work up. Alright, looking pretty good. It goes pretty quick. Really the mahogany, like putting that on the Y straps, a lot of fiddly bits, it takes a long time to do that color. Now we're going to do the coal black. We're going to hit all the metal, so the gun or any exposed metal portions of the gun, and then the bottom of the boots if they are carrying a rifle, the back end of the rifle because there would be a butt plate on there. And that should be all the bits that we're going to hit with just pure black. Oh, if they have jack boots on, like if it's an officer, you could do a full black boot if you needed to. But it goes pretty quick. I do the end of the flamethrower just to, and then I sort of use some water, thin it out, just to have the appearance that, hey, this is, there's a big old cloud of flame coming out of there, which there was. So looking good. Not quite to the end yet though. Back to mahogany. So after the tan, again, like I said, it's just easier to go in and just do that one solid color and then go back in and hit those higher edges. So here we're hitting the chin strap or any of the equipment straps on the canteens, or if you forgot to do some goggles like I tend to do sometimes, hit those. Okay, now khaki. So this is an extra step for you guys if you're not using these bases. These are 3D printed bases. I had a individual on Facebook that sort of mentioned that my bases look a little flat, and I have to agree, or I had to agree with him. So I went in, I airbrushed some yellow into the sand areas just to have some good color transition between the dried up mud or dirt and then the rocks and then the sand, and then going back in and actually now pretty much base coating all those larger pebbles or rocks this khaki, and then we'll wash it. Alright, now we're going to go and wash the skin. We want to do this first before we wash the model. Honestly, it really doesn't matter. I've done both, and I think both techniques, it comes out the exact same, but I prefer this one where I'm going to wash with this Crusader skin from Army Painter. It's a speed paint. I use it more, like I said, a wash. If you want to thin it out, you definitely can, but this is just straight from on a wet palette to the models. And it does a really good job as is, even without this next wash stage that we're going to get to. Now we're going to go to Pro Curl Blue. This is not historically accurate. They'd probably be subdued color, their scars and whatnot. But I just want to show that, hey, these individuals are pulling whatever equipment they could. They were grabbing equipment from the Italians. Historics, they actually, when they get in theater, they would get blouses and pants and all these other pieces of equipment from the Italian because they knew how to fight in the desert. The Germans, their uniforms, they didn't really do a lot of research, or they did. It was just more of tropic Asia than what they would consider the Middle East. So anyways, so blues, you can use reds, greens. I just like that vibrant sort of little bit of color in the army, which is fun. Next, we're going to go to the medium, or I say medium, sorry, the wash. It has medium in it. That's the recipe. It's not my recipe. It's from Sonic Sledgehammer Studios. It's called Space Marine Juice. Fantastic wash for, like, I'd say almost a universal wash. It does really well. And for historics, it is awesome. It's like my staple wash now. It will be. I will use that for probably the foreseeable future. I was using the Pro Curl Brown Wash for a long time, and then before that, Agrax Earthshade from the Citadel line. But you can see, like, if you wanted finished models just to get on the tabletop, you could table these models pretty much as is. I'd clean up the base, the rim of the base, and you're in business. You know, you can get an army on the table probably within a week, you know, with this painting technique. It's very quick, very efficient. But we're going to work the models a little bit more just because that's where the army's going to be at. So we're going to pretty much use all the original colors that we used, you know, as the base coats, now that with the wash on there. So we're going to go back to the Pro Curl Yellow Ochre, hit the rims of the helmet there, the top, and just basically the top bits on the canteen cup and the gas mask canister, the edge highlights on the ammo can. I'm by no means an edge highlight master, so you would, if you want softer transitions, you would want to maybe go with a darker color and the lighter color. But I more or less island, I guess would be island edge highlight. So is, I guess, the technique, or I don't know if that's technique. Maybe I just made that up. But anyways, now we're going to go Pro Curl Khaki, hit all the edges of that, and you can see it really makes it pop pretty hard. Now we're looking at the Pro Curl Light Umber, and this time we're going to hit all the leather bits. So the mahogany is pretty dark, and so you could probably hit it back with mahogany, and then work up to a light umber. If you want to work that stage in there, your transitions definitely would be a lot more smoother. But we're just going right to the light umber on all the leather bits, and then that's pretty much it. So don't forget the Y straps and the little tabs on the bread bag, all the small little fiddly bits. And then also I hit the canteen covers again just to get them to pop a little bit harder. Now dark yellow green, now we're going to start highlighting the tank on the flamethrower. This is a transition, so you're going to do it 3 or 4 times just over the top portion there, and then we're actually going to mix the next color for the very top highlight with the dark yellow green, and just to get it to punch even a little bit harder. So the next color, this is an obscure paint. I haven't seen it too much in stores anymore, mission models, but if you're going to use any like khaki, sort of Russian, you know, whatever that color would be through Vallejo, what you would paint, like a blouse of a Russian soldier in World War II, this would be the color of choice here. This is actually what we're going to highlight, the top of the tank, and then also the uniform. So all the folds, top of those folds there in the pants and the tops on these guys, this is what we're hitting that with. And again, super fast. There's no wet blending. I don't really have the time to do that. So looking pretty good so far. We're almost to the end. So now we're going to highlight the flesh. So with those 2 washes, it really does a lot of the work for you. So we are just hitting the very tops of, say, the nose, maybe the chin, the knuckle area, and that's it. And man, it just is a really easy, fast way to do skin tone that looks fantastic. I've never been one to do eyes. I know some folks like to do it. I can never get it to look right. Like, they always look cross-eyed to me. So I just don't do that, but not on usual models anyways. Now we're gonna go to the Bold Titanium White, and we're gonna hit the lenses, so goggles or binoculars, the gas mask. You don't see it on camera, unfortunately, but I think I use a Fire Slayer Army Painter for the gas mask after I do the white. And then this one is the Magic Blue. You just go right over the top of the white, and you're pretty much good to go. You can add a little dot in the corner if you want, and lenses are done. Now we're going to go to the Advanced Flesh Tone, and this is going to be a really nice wood grain color for us. So we'll just do small little dots and hashes and lines, and then after that we're going to tone it down because it is a little bit too much of a highlight for that wood grain. So we're going to use the Crusader skin again, just like what we use on the flesh tone, and with that red / pink hue in it, it'll really pull that the mahogany and then that flesh tone together and make a really nice soft wood grain. Alright, now we're going to highlight any black. So this, you can skip this if you use metallics mostly. But blue black from Pro Curl, this is a really nice transition from straight black. And again, it just gives it a nice look. If you're not going to use a lot of metallics, we'll actually go in with a number 2 pencil and add some metallic highlights to it here in a little bit. Now light umber again. This time though, we are going to hit the bases, the rim of the bases. I don't know why I did it in this order, but it's what I jumped to, I guess. So I'm putting it on the wet palette right now, and yeah, usually I'll do this at the very last stage, but I for some reason jumped ahead. But it's all good. So make sure you clean up the rims. Even if you're using the regular Warlord rims, I'll still clean those up, because it just really polishes the army off and just makes it look that much more finished. So I usually use black for this, but with going with the desert theme, I stuck with the brown. Alright, now the transfers. So we're just using the helmet transfers. I paint the Afrika Korps little banner on them. Just use a little bit of water and slide the transfer wherever you need it. And then I'm using the Vallejo decal softener. Any of the helmets, I try to put the dual decal just for the look. But in historics, it could be a single decal and no decal because these helmets were painted over. So coal black, after that Vallejo decal softener dries, it does dry matte. Go utilize this coal black with a little sponge, and I'm using some tweezers, some hobby tweezers there, and you're able to get a really cool chipping technique with pretty minimal effort. You could use mahogany if you wanted to. You could use a filled gray. I've always used black for this, and it comes out really nice. Make sure you don't have a lot of paint on that sponge because you don't want to ruin. Just do a big smudge, just nice small little taps, and just work a small area and work up from it. You know, you could always add more. It's hard to take away though. And now we're going to do the metallics. So this is a fancy, special bought, just number 2 pencil. It's not fancy. It's just number 2 pencil. So you just take that, and you're gonna hit all the raised metallic edges. So if they have a sheath for their bayonet, don't forget like the rings, like so the D ring on their Y strap there. It just adds a little bit of metallic pop. Again, everything would have been blued, so it wouldn't have shined too much, but there still is that shine texture that we're still trying to achieve. Now this step is totally skip it if you want. This is made up. These are SS markings, but I like the look of what it does to my army, so I add it. So it's just coal black. It's just a dot and a slash and a dot, and then I take a white and I just take 2 dashes and then make a dot. And now I'm gonna hit all the shoulder boards and then the rank on their collar. So again, this is not historical. They wouldn't be white. They would have been more of a subdued coyote color. And then their shoulder boards would be whatever division or whatever they were. Like if they're Panzer Grenadiers, they would be a greenish color, and then artillery was usually like red. And so you have to do some historical research on figuring out what that would be for you. But I like the white because it makes it pop. Alright, so this is what they look like. This is the LMG gunner and the flamethrower together, and I think they came out really nice. And these are the 2 flamethrowers, so I did a whole army, or a whole weapon squad. So I have 5 LMGs and 2 flamers, and then a small light mortar team, and you're going to see them all here together. And then I added some vegetation to the bases there just to get a little bit more green and contrast on those brown bases. So alright guys, well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I really enjoy painting these guys. These guys have been a really fun army to paint so far. I'm actually getting ready to transition to probably do some Fallschirmjägers just for a squad, and then some vehicles. So If you guys like what you see, please like and subscribe, and I'll keep the content coming. Again, thank you.